Morning, everyone. How is everyone doing today? I think I'm live. Yes. I don't know. I'm in Kentville, Nova Scotia, and today there was crazy thunder and lightning, and my internet went out a couple of times. So I'm brave and positive to jump on live today. Hopefully everything will stay on. If I lose you, well, I'll try to reconnect and carry on. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Janice Amiro. I am a holistic nutritionist and a holistic cancer coach. And I'm also a sugar addiction specialist. I work mostly with women who are struggling to beat their addiction to sugar in all its many forms. And the reason I do what I do, for those of you who don't know or haven't seen me talk about it, is because I had 2 life-threatening illnesses, but I fought back and I decided that I wasn't going to live with the health challenges that I had. I knew that I could change the outcome of my future. I changed my lifestyle, I changed my diet, I changed the way I live, and I got my life back. I was able to avert some serious issues, and which would have created bad health and probably a shorter life. So today I help women lose weight, look amazing, and live well by breaking up with sugar. So I normally interview people every Thursday, but the last few weeks I haven't been interviewing other health practitioners. I've been spending some time talking about some topics that I've been asked by you, the followers, my audience, to talk more about. And so I've kind of shifted gears a little bit. I'll be interviewing some more people, but I want to talk about the things that you want to hear about. So the topic today is gut health. And let me see if I am actually, yeah, I'm still good. What I wanted to do, if anyone is on the call, I want to, because I'm going through Zoom, I want to find myself live here on Facebook in case there's some questions, and then you can ask me. So let's have a see here. I believe, yes. There we go. So I see Debbie is watching. Hi, Debbie. Thanks for joining in. So I want to talk, like I said, about gut health. And I back in the day when we could do live events, I've done a few presentations on gut health. And so I had some requests to talk a little bit about that. So I will get started. And like I said, if there's anybody that has any questions, then I'll do my best to answer them. So you can just write your question in the chat. So gut health, you might have heard about it before. You don't really know what's going on. Hi, Zena, nice to see you. What your gut really does have to do with some of your health complaints. So, you know, it's something that we've been talking about more and more over the last probably 10 years, and the relationship with the gut and illness and disease. And like the famous saying goes, all disease begins in the gut. And that's, well, it's supposed to be a quote by Hippocrates, but there's all kinds of other stories about where that actually roots from. So anyway, whoever said it, all disease begins in the gut. It is so true. And if you just take a moment to think about the issues, the health issues that you might have, Maybe it's gas, bloating, constipation, diarrhea, irritable bowel, which is kind of all those things put together. A lot of autoimmune diseases, rheumatoid arthritis, Crohn's, diabetes, psoriasis, hormonal imbalances, celiac disease. There's so many, well, most everything that's going on is rooted in the gut. We have today, there's a lot of MS and fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue. I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue years ago, and certainly was rooted in my gut, what was going on with my body. So the way we live nowadays has a lot to do with ill health, but it's the gut that takes the brunt of the insults that we continue to throw at it. So if you have, hi Annette, nice to see you, and hi Ellen, nice to see you too. Two girls from high school, two young chicks, let's put it that way. Yeah, two young chicks from high school. So let's talk a little bit about what goes on in the gut. Not too technical at all, but you know, you've probably heard about good gut health, a balance of good and bad bacteria. And if you're taking probiotics, you probably are taking them to try to balance the your gut flora, or the bacterial gut, the bacteria in the gut. So so we're looking at that good bacteria as opposed to the bad bacteria, and that good bacteria has a purpose. And this is where when it's out of balance, then we have some problems. So just a few things that the bacteria are good bacteria and bacteria, because we need a little bit of bad bacteria. A balance of bacteria, healthy bacteria in the gut, helps to maintain a healthy immune system. And we know right now that a lot of people are concerned about their immune system, and there's a lot we can do to help boost our immune system and keep it strong. Good bacteria helps with our digestion, of course. It helps absorb nutrients into the system. It helps regulate inflammation, helps detoxify. There's so many things. It helps regulate and balance our hormones, the cortisol levels that cause us to be that are often out of whack, and we're overstressed and not sleeping. That the gut bacteria helps to maintain a good level of cortisol and blood sugar. So you can see that if our gut is out of balance, then we're going to be out of balance. The gut bacteria are affected by what we eat, of course, and of course in this way of eating, the standard American diet, which the acronym is SAD, S-A-D, interesting. Then we're feeding the bad gut bacteria. We're creating a repopulation or an overpopulation of bad bacteria. So when you think about bacteria and the good and the bad, I kind of make the comparison to an army. And if you're at war and you've got a good army, the good guys and the bad guys, then you know, if you only have a small number of good guys and there's a huge number of bad guys, probably the bad guys are going to win. So this is what happens when we eat that standard American diet. We continue to build this bigger and bigger army of bad bacteria, and the army of small is losing because it's just small in numbers. So food affects what the health of the gut. Antibiotics definitely affect the health of the gut, and antibiotics, just one round of antibiotics can wipe out all of your good bacteria. So sadly, oftentimes, and if you think about, maybe you know, maybe you don't, but you think about when was the first time that you had antibiotics in your life? A lot of us, it was under the age of 2. So, at that time, our body's just building up bacteria and trying to build a healthy gut. And then all of a sudden, something like antibiotics comes in and wipes out everything that's in there. So that is a real problem, and it's hard to rebuild. It can be done, but it is hard to rebuild. Chemicals also play a role in bad bacteria, in the building up of bad bacteria and in the killing of good bacteria. So what can we do about it? We need to try to eat well, of course. And when we have a really strong gut, that strong, you've heard of the term leaky gut, then you have a wall, intestinal wall lining that is tough and doesn't let anything in and out. When we have an unbalanced gut, we can develop leaky gut, and the toxins go through the system and go through the intestinal wall and cause even more problems. That is when we can get our defenses down with our immune system. We can't fight anything off. We end up with infections. We end up with a lot of mucus in our bodies, inflammation. So we want to keep that gut barrier really, really healthy. So immunity is, the health of our immune system is in our gut. 80% of our immune system's fighting power is, excuse me, is in our gut. So I already talked a little bit about illnesses and diseases that that are a sign that you have some gut imbalances, and the common diseases of today are basically what we're looking at: IBS, Crohn's, colitis, all the bowel disorders, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, stress, acne, psoriasis, cancer, you name it. It's rooted in our gut. So other things that can affect our gut health is stress, our emotions. Of course, that affects the cortisol levels, antibiotics, like I said, toxins and chemicals, and our lack of exercise, and of course the diet. So when it comes to diet, there's a few things, and you probably won't be surprised, that interrupt the balance of the gut. Oh, here comes my dog. You can hear her. Gluten adversely affects gut health. Dairy, the same thing. And sugar, of course. You're not surprised about that, because I talk about sugar all the time. So there's some foods that the body really doesn't deal with well, and for some people. And so if you have some health issues and you're wondering if changing your diet a little bit can help, then these are a list of foods that maybe, there's my dog. She's going to sit right beside me. She's scared of the thunder, so I think it's thundering again. So the foods that can affect the gut and create poor gut health are dairy, wheat, of course, gluten, eggs. Nightshades can cause some issues when it comes to gut health. Some people can't tolerate peanuts very well. They cause a little bit of problems. Other nuts for some people. Animal products that have toxins in them, which is most factory raised animals have lots of growth hormones, antibiotics, and the chemicals that are used in slaughtering and packaging. So it's always wise to find some really, really healthy animal product options. Hi, Jackie. Jackie's tuning in from Qatar, where I'm sure it's nice and warm today. And it's almost, well, it's 5:15 5 there, I guess, right now, in the afternoon. Some people find it challenging to tolerate corn. That's another one that that you can watch out for. Soy is another, especially if it's not organic. Seafood sometimes as well. So those foods can cause some disruptions with some people. You know, it's kind of if you eat those foods a lot and you have a lot of gut issues or you have a lot of health issues, especially skin issues, then have a look at what you're eating that's in that category. So how can we ensure a really, really healthy gut? And that would be, of course, by limiting or eliminating some foods. Sugar is one, of course, and gluten is another. Basically, eating an anti-inflammatory diet. And if you've heard of that before, and maybe you've been on it, you've probably felt a lot better when it comes to your gut, how your body feels, how you digest your food, and how your nutrients are being absorbed. Good quality sleep, of course, affects the gut, and a lot of people don't sleep well. I had a conversation with someone the other day, and they said, you know, they'd be willing to pay big bucks just to be able to sleep well at night, and it is a problem for a lot of people. So if you're not sleeping well, then it's something to address right away. Another thing that can help balance gut bacteria is probiotics and prebiotics. And the other one, of course, is managing stress. So an anti-inflammatory diet, good quality sleep, a balance of prebiotics and probiotics, and stress management is going to help a lot in trying to get that gut back in balance. When it comes to anti-inflammatory diet, it should be a diet that is low in sugar, high in vegetables, and it doesn't seem to matter whether we're vegan, vegetarian, meat eaters, or any other type of diet. Most people don't get enough vegetables. And I think if you really look at your plate every day, are you getting enough vegetables? Is half your plate filled with vegetables at every meal? Maybe not. And if it isn't, then it's one easy way to improve your gut health. Foods that are high in omega-3s are really good for inflammation, and they help reduce inflammation. So the first foods that come to mind for me are nuts and seeds. You've got walnuts, pumpkin seeds, flax seeds, chia seeds, hemp. They're all really high in omega-3 fatty acids. So some people take a supplement, and that's okay too. And then there are some, fatty fish, avocado, olives, those types of foods are really good. When it comes to prebiotics, a lot of people don't really know what that means. So those are foods that are high in fiber. And when the body eats them, they feed the good bacteria. So when you get high fiber foods, then you're actually feeding or helping your good bacteria grow. Probiotics are generally live bacteria that are, in a pill or supplement type of form, and they help to maintain and build good bacteria as well. So we need both. We need the foods that feed the good gut bacteria, and we need the probiotics. Some might be eating sauerkraut and maybe like kefir, however you want to say it. There's a coconut kefir that's available, cultured coconut, really nice. Kimchi, those types of foods. They offer some benefits to the gut. They're fermented and they offer some nice benefits to the gut. Prebiotic foods, there's a list of some. One is that I really like and I don't find very often is Jerusalem artichoke. It doesn't look anything like an artichoke. It's more like a big, like it's a root. It kind of sometimes looks like long pieces of ginger. Really, really nice. Hi, Monique. Nice to see you. Monique's also tuning in from lovely hot Doha, Qatar. And so prebiotic foods, legumes, beans, peas, oats. If you eat oatmeal, that's a really good one. Flax seeds, bananas, berries. Again, the Jerusalem artichoke. Dandelion greens, which are out of season right now, but I don't know if you've ever had them, but they are very nice. Garlic and onions are really good prebiotic foods. So if you're cooking up a stir fry, making a soup, then add some garlic and onions, making a salad, cooked or raw. It's both of those are really, really good. So when it comes to gut health, there's so much we can do to improve our gut health. But I think the one thing I wanted to make a point of today was that if you have a health condition, then it is most often rooted in the gut. So rather than, if you have a pain or an ache, or you need to take something to help alleviate your health issue, or try to make it better, then that's fine, but you're not really getting to the root of the problem. The root of the problem is the gut. And when you can fix, for lack of a better word, the gut and rebalance the gut, then oftentimes those health challenges will go away. When you look at acne, when you look at IBS, when you look at Crohn's, when you look at all of these issues that are so common today, they can be way better managed or reversed by changing the diet. Type 2 diabetes alone is completely a lifestyle disease, and but most of these diseases we tend to medicate ourselves to be able to tolerate them, or take a pain med for an ache, bad back or a sore knee, when actually, in fact, we could change our diet and not have that pain anymore, not have to deal with the nuisance that these illnesses or health conditions, ailments cause us. So if there is something that is happening to you, if you have a health condition and you're looking to resolve it, then look at the gut. Start at the gut. That's where it starts. That's where the like Hippocrates says, all disease begins in the gut. So have a look at your diet, and a final thought about having a look at your diet. If you think, and I hear this a lot, I eat really well. I hear this a lot. And a lot of people do eat so much better than their friends or people they know, people at work. But are you really eating the best that you can? So here's a little challenge for you. And if you do it, I'd love to hear about it. Get a piece of paper and a pen and write down everything you've eaten over the last 3 days. This is something I ask my clients to do before I start working with them. Write down everything you've eaten over the last 3 days and have a look at that, and be honest. There's no one to judge except for yourself, and have a look at how much good food you're actually eating. How many vegetables are you getting every day? How much fruit are you getting every day? How many foods that you eat every day are loaded with chemicals? Have a look at the fiber intake that you're getting. Are you getting enough of those prebiotic foods to help build good bacteria? Have a look at that and see what the overall picture looks like. You may say, yeah, well, I am eating really, really well, or, maybe there's some room for improvement. So that's a good place to start if you really don't know, what your diet consists of. You don't really pay attention. And taking it one step further, oftentimes you can see that your pain or your health issue or your flare-ups might come when they reflect what you're eating. So on a day that you've eaten not so great, then maybe the next day, like after Thanksgiving dinner, a lot of people feel so miserable. So have a look at that and see if there's a little bit of a correlation between what you're eating and how you're feeling. And if that's the case, then all you need to do is start adding some healthier foods into your routine, and your gut will start to get stronger and rebuild, and then you'll notice that you're feeling better, and the aches and pains and the complaints that you had start to go away. So that's my I don't have any questions. Anybody's asking any questions. That's what I wanted to cover today, and I did pretty good. It's not even 30 minutes, so I tend to talk on and on because I love talking about this. So if you have any questions, even if they're after we're done today live, then please put them in the chat. And if you want to contact me, if you have any questions or you'd like to have a conversation, certainly it would be wonderful to have a no obligation consultation with you. So I can be reached at janiceamiro.com if you'd like to set up a call, or you can just send a message on Facebook. Anyway, that's all I want to talk about today. Once again, my name is Janice Amiro, and I am on a mission to eradicate sugar addiction and help women lose weight, look amazing, and live well by breaking up with sugar. You are welcome, Jackie. Thanks for the reminder, she says. Very, very welcome. And Debbie, thanks. Very informative. You're very welcome, Debbie. And thanks, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. And I will see you again next week. Have a great day. It's still raining here, but that's okay. We need the rain. And yeah, have a great rest of your day. This is Janice. Bye for now.